To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not just their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. Welcome to the Chiss Ascendancy podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome back to
The Chiss Ascendancy.
We are in episode 115, which means if you've not caught on, 115 part 5, they just happen to correlate for Dark Force Rising. We are in part 5 of Dark Force Rising. This is our Heir of the Empire trilogy read-through, and we are on the penultimate. You like that?
The penultimate, the second to last issue of the second to last book.
Boom. So, we are excited, and we got
think about a sandwich penultimate twice.
We've got penultimate chapter of the penultimate book of the penultimate sequel trilogy, essentially, if you want to look at it that way. Speaking of sequel trilogy, a little bit of newsy news. As of recording this, we are 10 years from The Force Awakens hitting theaters. It's a true story.
Oof.
And so, that is pretty crazy.
That's very good.
Think about this. Revenge of the Sith was 10 years old when The Force Awakens came out.
Force Awakens was in 2014, wasn't it?
No, 2015.
You sure?
100%. Because, for those of you who know me and Macy were engaged in 2015, got married in 2016. Mm-hmm. So, we signed up. I remember because 2015 is when I started my gig at the River. I was a youth pastor in Houston, Texas. And the longest day of the week for any youth pastor, for those of you listening who have any friends in ministry.
I thought it was my freshman year, but it's my sophomore year of college.
Yep. Wednesday's a long day, right? Because you're there at the church in the beginning of the day. You work the whole day. You have youth service. And then you stay late, cleaning up and whatnot. And it happened to come out. We did the all-night movie marathon watching episodes 1 through 6, short break, and then 7.
The administration that planned that did a horrible job.
What do you mean?
It was like, it started at what, like 7 or 8 the night before?
It started at 1 a.m.
It didn't start that late. I remember they started I think we were done with episode 6 by like 1 p.m. or something like that. And then they waited until like 6 or 7 to start.
Right. So what
episode
happened was it started at 1 a.m. because if you remember, like I said, we had youth and that started at 7, ended at like 8:15. Got all the kids out, cleaned up the sanctuary and whatnot by 9 p.m., ran home, grabbed a shower, drove to Gulf Point, AMC, right? We got there at 11 p.m. because we wanted a good spot, and we sat and we asked the people working there, could we sit in the handicap seats at the top of the theater? And they said yes. So we had those larger chairs, and we camped out at 11. They started doing some trivias and whatnot. We all won posters because I remember I just said, whatever the question is, just raise your hand and I'll whisper you the answer. And so we all got Force Awakens posters.
I don't think I raised
night.
my hand.
And, well, you missed out.
I do remember there was almost a violence because they were asking about this. I don't remember what the question was, but the answer was the Sarlacc pit. And somebody raised their hand and said, well, the pit of Carcoon, which is true.
Which is accurate.
That is correct. That is the correct answer. But the poor teenager running...
That obviously didn't know the lore.
Probably never watched Star Wars before in their life, watching all of these people who are mega fans in the 7-movie marathon at a movie theater, which is a hellscape.
The Sarlacc pit.
She says, I'm sorry, the answer is the Sarlacc pit. And he goes, the Sarlacc pit is the pit of Carcoon.
The pit of Carcoon is a Sarlacc pit.
Yeah,
it's called the Great Pit of Carcoon. What are you, stupid? Yeah. So the movies, episode 1 started at 1 a.m. And then you had 1, 2, 3.
My point is,
there was a short break, 4, 5, 6, and then there was like a 3-hour break.
4-hour gap that we just kind of sat there.
Because they couldn't legally show the movie until 7 p.m. of Thursday.
I think we got like a 1 hour advance viewing. I think that was like
or maybe it started at 6.
Yeah, I think we got like a little bit of a
maybe you're
year
right.
special.
Yeah, so we were in the theater for almost 24 hours. But that's 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
This week. Isn't that crazy?
I couldn't be doing that again.
I would 100% do it again.
Nah, I don't know, man.
And I'm
To watch The Force Awakens?
yeah. The Force Awakens was fantastic.
Now, if I was watching Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, you watch 1 through 6 and then come back for a how would you do it? I guess you could do 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
And end with that. So real quick, just to start off, it is the Christmas season. And so as you can see, we've got the Grand Admiral here.
Christmas time is here.
Merry Christmas.
That is loud.
I picked up
Ooh,
this guy.
nice. I like how he's got his little dad bod from Ahsoka series.
Ahsoka. This is a Black Series Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah, based on Lars Mikkelsen. And so this guy will be
How do you feel Lars did?
fantastic.
Well,
Yeah,
you think so?
I thought he did good. He did. I mean, obviously he's different from Thrawn in other mediums, but he did exactly as directed by Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
You know, for the diehard fans, they may disagree with different things. Here's the thing: you get any character that comes off and is exactly what the director's looking to have. You have the whole Hayden Christensen thing where people thought that Hayden did a bad job as Anakin, but you have George praising Hayden for how great of a job he did.
Yeah.
You know? So, not that we're going to unbox him now because that would be really loud, but I thought he could be cool for the desk.
Yeah, very cool.
And then I have a personal gift for you.
For me?
That I think you'll like. Sorry for the loud bag.
Loud bag.
This is a pop.
Oh, my very own Grand Admiral Thrawn pop.
Very own. Now listen, it's a different one, right? So this one has the crossed arms, not amused kind of look. This one, he's holding a pistol, as you can
that
see
is cool.
here. This is specifically from, I'm not sure if this guy's from, I guess this one's from Ahsoka as well. But this one is special because it says, Samuel, read for you by Mark Thompson.
Oh, no way. That's so cool.
So when I met Mark a little while ago,
That's cool.
I gave him a hoodie I had custom made that said the Chiss Ascendancy featuring Mark Thompson.
That's really neat.
And he was super excited. And
He's a cool guy.
He wouldn't charge me a dime, so he signed a couple of things for us. This was a while ago, but I wanted the right moment to give it to you.
Well, thank you. That's very thoughtful.
So I know that you typically would unbox him. However,
Yeah, he'll stay.
it says read for you by Mark Thompson. And one of the boxes was damaged when I took it to him. And so I kept the damaged box. You got the clean box.
That's precious.
And I've been hiding him from my children. So you can imagine.
An essential part of the job.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Mark's a great guy. If you didn't know, he actually recorded our intro piece directly for us.
Yeah. Welcome. I know you thought that was me, but it's not. That's Mark Thompson. To the Chiss Ascendancy.
He's awesome.
And you know what? Whenever he sent it to me, I'm sure I've told the story before, but he sent like 4 or 5 or 6
I
different
remember
takes.
we went through,
and we went by and we're like,
yeah.
this one and this one and this one. And we spliced them together. So it's been 10 years since The Force Awakens, which is the sequel trilogy. Heir to the Empire is the old school fans sequel trilogy. And we are in part 5.
How many years since Dark Force Rising is the question.
Oh my God, that's the question. And so if you're listening or watching at home, what we did last week that we're going to continue today, I hope you notice if you are watching, we heard your cries after 400 years of
Published
watching us.
between 1991 and 1993, I guess that's the whole
Different
Thrawn
styles.
trilogy.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
probably
so
92.
92. So, yeah, 33 years, something like that.
Quite a...
So,
Pretty safe to assume it was the 3 side of things.
I agree.
By this time of year.
So we came back to the old school brick wall layout. We don't have the brick wall anymore. And so
We do not.
I asked him, do we still have that brick wall? And he's like, no.
I've got the lumber.
Yeah, but we went with the zoomed in interview style, so it gives you more of an up close and personal view. And actually, in second place in the poll that we posted was you and I sitting side by side, recording facing the
Yeah,
camera.
the OG.
Which would be interesting. We could still try that.
Was there like a sub-thread to vote on whether or not to bring back the plywood table?
No, there wasn't. I thought about the plywood table, though. Yeah, when we first started, we had 2 upturned totes with a plywood table on it.
Yep.
Fantastic. And we kept trying to get sponsored by Monster. This week, we're having the Monster Mule. Anytime now. We're
awesome.
in Dark Force Rising Part 5, and so what we did last week that we're going to continue this
Bring back
week
Cuba Lima,
is...
Monster.
Oh, man.
Sponsor me and bring back Cuba Lima.
instead of just going panel by panel and kind of breaking it down, we're assuming you've read it with us, and we're just going to review it like we would an episode of a TV show or something of that nature. Yes. So for you, obviously, the meat and potatoes in 30 seconds. We've got Luke and Mara trying to get Talon Karrde out. We have Thrawn trying to thwart said breakout.
Yep.
And then on the other side of things, we've got Leia on the Noghri homeworld of Honoghr, and she's trying to explain to them the disease that the Empire has spread to their land, and that their debt has been paid in full, and that it is not dishonorable for them to now seek peace for themselves and prosperity for themselves.
They gotta put me first.
And what she said was, the more you give, the more you'll receive. I'm just joking. That's just...
I gotta put me first.
You gotta put me... It's some me time.
Yeah.
I need a beer. Right now. But anyways, so you got that, and then you also have the Lando Han trying to find the Katana fleet through their connections with Garmbel Iblis. So there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
What are your takeaways? If this is a TV show, what stands out to you?
It's funny to me how in this particular format especially, Thrawn seems to know more and do less than like any other way that we see him. Like there's Luke and Mara, and they're assuming they kind of have the leg up on Thrawn. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't think he knows we're here.
Yeah, there was a lot of, I don't think he knows.
Yeah, but Thrawn 100% knows, and still they get away.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's like, we lost a round, no more. And Pelian's like, feels like we lost more than that. And he's like, nope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's always knowing more than they think he knows, but he's doing less than I feel like one might do with that knowledge.
Yeah. He's doing less with the knowledge than he would like in Rebels, or especially obviously the Freak of the Ascendancy trilogy. He's like Broly, basically. Like he's unstoppable with his head knowledge and whatnot. But
the only thing he doesn't know how to define is losing, because he's never done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not from experience. He just has to define it from, like whatever this guy does, I guess. I don't know.
Losing is what you will do if we face off. Is that how that works? The interesting thing about Thrawn in the Heir to the Empire trilogy, particularly, you see more of it because there's less filler, because you're not reading a novel, you're seeing a comic book. So it's kind of exposed at an even worse level. Like we're really starting to see...
At a very rapid rate.
Yeah, we're starting to see... Like this episode or this issue in particular, there's some really severe cracks in the regime going forward. So
and you have to wonder if it's like he has the whole plan. He knows where everything's going into place. He even sets a trap, and it's just like they get through it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's sometimes that you do everything you can do and you do your best, and it's just not... Sometimes your best isn't good enough, unfortunately.
Sometimes their best isn't good enough, Thrawn says.
So it's very interesting. You see a lot of that.
Did you also notice, or maybe I missed something, he has Rook kind of put a squad together to intercept them, and I don't see anything else from Rook for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, you don't see Rook. You see a squad enter the hangar that they're trying to...
Yeah, some stormtroopers.
From deep storage where the Millennium Falcon is. But kind of moving through, there's a lot of things that happen. Like, for instance... I did notice, I wish that we got something that we have seen a lot from Luke that I wish we saw more of is...
there was some cool Force stuff from Luke.
Yes, I want to see more Force stuff like in movies and TV shows and books or comics or whatever. Obviously, there's so many comics nowadays. I'm sure there's stuff out there that I'm just missing.
Yeah, but this is such a small sampling of like what the Force was doing, I think, in the 90s and early 2000s in books. But he's like, we don't have to kill these people. I'll just suppress their curiosity enough for us to walk in and grab some jackets and walk out. How freaking cool is that? You know what I mean? You don't see anybody...
suppressing their curiosity is kind of like what Diddy used to do. And then all of a sudden everybody's curiosity came back and they're like, hang on.
Oh, dear.
But,
oh, God.
Yeah, just...
all I can think about is how smug 50 Cent was in the press
50 Cent has been
before.
So fun the last couple of weeks.
Before the documentary actually dropped, you're like... It's going to be really good.
Yeah. And his, 50 has, he was shot in the face and all that kind of stuff. So his jaw kind of like wired shut. And so he's like, what do you think Diddy's going to, or, Puff's going to think about this? And he's like, I think he's going to think it's great. I think he's going to think it's the best thing ever. Yeah, he said he has a documentary brewing about LeBron James, and he said, and it don't have much to do with basketball. And I was like, no, LeBron.
Oh, Bronny.
But basically, yeah, sensing people, hunting things, the family business.
Oh, God.
Carry on my wayward son.
You got to wait till next week for that.
Sorry.
A finale.
But yeah, it's interesting because you see a lot of Mara even starts to concede. Obviously, she's come with her tail tucked between her legs to ask Thrawn or ask Luke for his help getting Card back.
She's never gonna fully cow, but we also have a much more confident Luke than we've seen in maybe like the last 3-4 issues.
Yeah, I think that Luke it's interesting because Sabaoth seeing Luke, you think that Sabaoth sees him as weak or whatever, and he's like hoping like I'm going to show Luke what real power is, and he's going to have a hunger for that from me. And what really happened was Luke saw how Sabaoth was abusing the Force to get his own ends, and that's just not Luke's cup of tea. And so there's actually, in a cool way, there's a resurgence of the confidence that Luke has in who he is, because he's realizing I don't have to do the things that this guy's doing.
Yeah.
I let the Force use me. I'm an instrument of the Force.
On another item on the list of things that started and never finished, how come Luke's Force abilities were never hampered? Did the Islamiri never make it to the...
They never made it down.
Sloppy execution.
Yeah, there's
very sloppy.
There's a lot of Thrawn being like, hey, let's do this. And everybody's like, do what? And he's like, never mind, they're gone.
Dude, it was the... Pellion's like, we can use the SMR from here. And he's like, shut up, I'm thinking.
Yeah, there was one where he's like, I need a second. Yeah, it is, it's funny, and I'll put this still on the screen at this moment. Timestamp. No, but there's a moment where there's Pellion's talking, and Thrawn's like, I need a second to think. Like, he's got his hand over his face.
Shut up, I'm past that.
But yeah, I thought that it was cool to see Luke being like, hey, I'm going to suppress their curiosity, just go in and grab these jackets. Or there was a moment where he's like, he tells her the route they're going to take based on how many people he can sense in the Force. And actually, the first time I was privy to concepts like this, like sensing people in the Force or sensing their emotion or sensing, like you hear about some stuff like that, but like to the degree that we're talking about was actually in Legacy of the Force, where Jason Solo obviously begins and completes his fall to the dark side, and either Luke or Mara is trying to confront him about something, and they're like, he can hide his signature in the Force. He can hide his Force presence. He can hide his emotions, and
that's something that we see a lot in the Plagueis novel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where Palpatine has to continually suppress his presence in the Force to hide from the Jedi. So it's something that's happening behind the scenes in the prequel trilogy, but it's not overstated.
The shroud of the dark side has fallen. Man, the Jedi just really sucked at that point. It's kind of sad.
It's pretty grim.
Yeah, you're like, okay, Mace Windu, like the most, like you're looking at the, the cream of the crop Jedis.
What it is like the NBA in reverse, and you're looking at like the All-Stars from the first All-Star game. They're like, he can touch the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not at all impressive what they can do. Any hundreds of people off the street would have been professionals in that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine? We'd have basketball cards of ourselves if we were born in like the 60s.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like you think about
Pistol Pete was still doing things.
Yeah, Pistol Pete. I mean, that's Pistol. But you've got freaking like Mace Windu, who's like the most powerful, is what Anakin says. And then
he was the saber master of the day. So
yeah. And then there's
you have to assume he was the most martially adept Jedi.
Whenever I was growing up, there was a lot of my friends or people that I read online or saw YouTube or whatever. Tell me if you ever heard this. A lot of people thought that like Mace and Yoda were like co-captains.
No.
And I never felt that way. I always felt like Yoda was a clear number 1 and Mace was a clear number 2.
The only thing that we see is Yoda in the High Republic was the co-Grandmaster.
Right.
And in the prequel trilogy era, there's only one Grandmaster, and it's not Mace.
Yeah. I always felt that way as well.
Well, I mean, it's in the title.
I understand. It's weird because I had a lot of friends or people that I met or knew, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Mace Windu's my favorite Jedi."
Total buffoons.
Yeah, I was like, "What?"
At the school for stupids.
But yeah, going back, you see a lot of like Thrawn overplaying his hand, like he's going to strong arm Card, and then
he thinks he's holding all the cards, and then he's not. All of a sudden, there's a card jailbreak.
But Card was like, "We're not going to get involved at all." You remember that? It wasn't that long ago that he told Mara,
Card was definitely trying to like, how can I appease both sides until they leave me alone?
Yeah, we're not going to get involved. We're the Katana fleet. What's best for us is if we don't get involved with anybody. And then he all but tells Luke,
it didn't quite play out that
way.
way.
When I get out of here, the New Republic's going to be rich for ships. You know what I mean?
All right.
He turned into Watto in my head. That's going to be, the Katana fleet, the Dark Force, it's rising.
Credits will not do.
Speak of the Mace Windu. So, yeah, and then I thought it was funny how they sound the alarm.
Can you imagine if Puss in Boots sounded like that?
Like freaking Watto? I am Puss in Boots, It's just be a lot of at the end of everything. Little Annie. The wings is one of my favorite moments in all of.
Yeah, that's hats off to the animators.
What's freaking what movie is that? Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Little Annie. It is you. Yeah, I thought it was funny how whenever Thrawn is like, he figures out obviously we have somebody on board. Check the wounds, check the cuts of the grate, everything. It's gonna be. Dude, I thought it was very cool how we described a lightsaber wound or a lightsaber cut. Mm-hmm. It's going to be small incisions with cauterization afterwards.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool. And they were like, we can't identify it. And he's like, Luke Skywalker's on board. Yeah, and he says, lock it down. And then it was so funny. Whenever, tell me if you chuckled at this, whenever they're like, these stupid drills, what is Luke Skywalker going to get on board? And then Luke's like, I don't know, he does like a 360 punch, it looks like in that panel.
I thought it was Mara. It looked like she was doing kind of like a roadhouse move. Maybe
Talon Card always looks... Oh, that is Mara.
Yeah, she's doing a kind of...
Pow-pow.
A frontsy backsy.
A whack clud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like in the books and stuff back in the day, like in Legends especially, like Criff was kind of like the F word or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like criffing this, criffing that. And you hear the awooga, and then this guy says... Blast! Don't they ever get tired of running drills? What do you want them to do? Announce snap drills in advance? Like obviously it's like a fire drill.
It's not a pop quiz if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and this guy goes, the whole thing's burning useless. Who they expect's gonna come aboard? Burning pirates? So that was Tim Zahn being like, what's the
ooh, fiddlesticks,
Yeah, you meddling kids. And then it was funny because it was freaking Luke and Mara on board, and actually reminded me
pirate jailbreak, if you will.
Yeah, back in the day, we were at. Do you remember? We used to go to Borders Books, and Mom would turn us loose and let us read like Star Wars comics and stuff while she went across the street to Whole Foods back in the day.
I think it was reverse order. I think we crossed the street like gremlins, but yeah.
Oh, well, whatever. But yeah, we would go.
Mind if we run through the parking lot, Mom, and go to Borders Bookstore?
We go to Borders Books.
Freaking, we were the closest thing you could be to homeschool without being homeschooled.
Oh,
man.
yeah. And there was an actual road there. There was an actual street.
No, yeah, we crossed the street, lot. Yeah.
But I remember there was a comic that always stood out to me. I have my wife always tells me that I get stressed out watching like stressful movies. Mm-hmm. Like if you're watching Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, and you're supposed to be like, haha, this is unfortunate.
The 1980s, early 90s, like pit of misery humor that my dad finds.
It's
like
stressful, bro.
Side-splittingly funny. I'm like, oh my god, how many things are going to fall apart in that house? And he's like, they're going bankrupt.
Yeah, it stresses me out. There's I wrote it down here. There's Star Wars Empire number 14. There's a comic, and I can't remember the freaking like Fatal Heart or Brutal Heart or I don't know, something with heart. Mm-hmm. And anyways, the idea of the comic is you've got this young wet behind the ears, green Imperial cadet, right? And he's on the planet, I think it's Vol or Fall, Vaal.
And he's suddenly a colonel and the commander of the Empire's honor guard for...
No.
For the Emperor, and his name's Howland Goth.
No, not that guy. No, this guy is like fresh, right? And he gets there, and he's got, the way that they have almost like the priest collar, it's like buttoned all the way up, and it seems like the planet's hot, like it's in the middle. It's almost similar to like how Lothal looks, where it's just like fields everywhere. And he gets there, and he's like, "Yes, sir. Reporting for duty, private, second class, whatever his freaking title is." And the guys are like, "Hey, dude, freaking calm down. We're in the middle of nowhere."
Yeah.
And so the whole issue
has the same energy as Zuko breaking into like that Fire Nation prison. They're like, "Take your helmet off in the break room." He's like, "But then I'm susceptible to attack."
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that, right? And this is taking place right after A New Hope. Okay.
Wow.
So imagine you have the moment where it's like, choo 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 choo, and Vader hits the classic what. And then you hear Yahoo! And Han shoots, the TIE Advanced, and it does the whole whoa thing. And so essentially, go ahead.
No, I don't have it pulled up.
You don't have it? Okay.
No.
So,
I have it, but
essentially, just tell me when you have it. So essentially, what happens is that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's the very beginning of the story. And this is dragging on, but basically, the point of it is that Vader's like, yo, going whatever. And he ends up crash landing on Vol, right? So this is a planet that's out there in the middle of nowhere.
And then Han's like, Yahoo! There you go.
And, let's blow this popsicle stand, kid, or whatever he says. And then, so finally, at the very, very last page or two.
Not even close, dude.
The last page or two of the comic, the kid's like, yeah, you're right. Let me just unzip my shirt and kick my feet up and get a soda pop from the machine. And they're all just like, just hanging out. And then they're like, hey, there's a guest at the front gate.
It's freaking Vader, isn't it?
And it's freaking Vader. How stressful is that? So the whole episode, you can kind of see it happening, right?
Yeah.
And Vader also, here's the other thing.
Who's going to come up to this stupid outpost burning Vader?
Yeah, the Emperor, Vader, yeah, right. So, on the outskirts or out on the outside of this Imperial outpost, there's like really violent, like,
crime,
wolf kind of looking things. Like if a wolf and a warthog had a baby, and they're attacking Vader, okay. So he's getting ripped to shreds. He's pissed off because his TIE Advance just crashed. They just lost the freaking Death Star. Moff Tarkin's gone. Like this is the worst day in Imperial history up until this point.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty angry, pretty upset.
The Emperor has
pretty Criffin teed off, what I mean?
Exactly. The Emperor's put Tarkin and Vader over this. Tarkin's dead, so Vader's obviously going to get the the brunt of it. Oh, just build another one. You got an ATM on that torso light, right? So Vader's pissed, and it's the old '90s animation where his brow of his helmet is like super
He's
down,
got the widow's
so it's like
peak.
really, really pissy looking. And he shows up at the gate, right? And his cape is like torn to shreds, and he's got like one metal leg. The other one looks normal. The other one's been torn to shreds. He just looks like he's like been gone through hell, and he's killed all these wild animals to get there. And the guy's literally like, "Oh no!" Anyways, that's what that reminded me of. Was like, were they expecting pirates? And then it's freaking Luke and Mara.
Thanks for illustrating that entire point.
There you go. That's a 5-minute breakdown for that one little blurb from the comic, but that's what the freaking show is. So
pictures with the circles and arrows and the paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us.
What is that?
Alice's
Restaurant. What a great song, dude. You can get anything you want. And then moving forward, obviously,
I introduced a lot of my college friends to that song, and they freaking love it.
It's great.
My wife, on the other hand, not a huge fan, believe it or not of a 20-minute long Arlo Guthrie Jr.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Comedy bit. Not a huge fan.
The first, I want to say 60% of the issue is dealing with getting Talon Card off of the Star Destroyer, and then that second 40% is split between Leia's time on Honoghr and Lando and Han on the underwater casino, which is freaking sick.
How many casinos do you think they know of that are just like specialty casinos?
Apparently there's a billion of them.
Yeah, there's a zillion and three.
Yeah. You have freaking Booster Tarek's whole Star Destroyer is a casino, which to your point is larger than freaking Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Like Las Vegas
That's an enormous vessel.
I just went to Vegas last month for the first time, and it's extremely overwhelming. Like, I remember we were going, and I had never been. I was like, this is going to be so fun. And my boss, Mike, that just recently moved there, was going to pick us up from the hotel and do dinner and stuff. And I get there, and I'm walking into...
Never felt so much like an Amish, huh?
I felt very Amish, yeah. And then my company, that was a company trip, they didn't put the incidentals on their card. So they're like, we just need a...
how much was it?
It was like $700.
$700?
Or it was $500 for incidentals.
Dude, I had a $250 charge on a work trip, and I was like, they going to take that off anytime soon?
Yeah, they told me... so here's the problem.
$250 was a lot. Usually it's like $50, $100 if
I know.
you're regular.
I know.
A regular person.
I was...
Then again, I guess I've never been to a place where people are just trashing hotels left and right.
Right. I think that's the difference. Is so I had given them and it was my debit card too. I'd given them my debit card for the reason I gave them my debit card. I didn't even tell them, yes, use this for the room. I had paid for parking because we had a rental car. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, $20 a day? Okay, cool. Here's my card. And then they were like, and of course there's a hold. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's on the company card. And they were like, the one ending in, and they read my freaking card number. And I was like, and they're like, yeah, $500. So between the, $80 for parking for the week and that is like
80 for the week. That's nothing, dude.
I know.
Freaking the hotel.
But what I'm saying
that
is,
I stayed at in Denver,
between
they're like,
the two was like $600.
They're like, would you like us to park your car overnight for $75? And I was like, I'll walk across the street like a regular person. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Not interested.
No, sirree, Bob.
No.
What were your thoughts on moving forward? Really, there's not that much going on the casino other than the Wraith.
Yeah, the Wraith is kind of cool. It's like...
on Hanukkah, though, it was pretty cool.
Lando's starting to see the rewards for his reckless behavior.
What do you mean?
What's the 90s haircut villain cigar smoking? What's his name?
Oh, you mean
Niles
Tevye?
Ferrier? Yeah, right. Niles Ferrier is like, Han, this is your deal. I'm tired of Calrissian. He's going to go up front and get blasted as soon as this bad boy breaches the surface. and then he's like, no deal. All right, you're hanging out with the ghost. And Han's like, you want to be rich? And there's no answer from the shadow. And he goes, all right then. And that's the gist of that story arc.
Yeah, that story arc is very, very short. You end on a cliffhanger where Thrawn's like, wow, that coral is so beautiful.
He's like, would have liked to study it. Anyway,
fire when ready.
Blasting.
The most
trash man.
Yeah, ironically, you've got Luke doing his thing, which seems like really, really important, which of course it is, because you have the Katana fleet hanging in the balance.
His arc right now, I think, has probably the most hanging in the balance, arguably second most with how Leia's story arc ultimately ends.
I was going to say you have the bookends of the Katana fleet being hunted for. Right. So you have Garnbil Iblis is kind of telling Han and Lando where he can find a few of them, and then Talon Card apparently has the most of them, I think. Mm-hmm. And then right there in the middle, they sneak in like a very, very powerful moment where Leia basically draws all the tribes together, and they're like, you're trying to cause discord. Which, it's funny how like familiar I am with that term just because Mom always talked about discord when we were growing up. Which
I don't even use Discord, really.
Yeah. Now Discord's like a thing, but growing up, she was like, you guys are arguing, sowing seeds of discord amongst the family.
Rebellion's witchcraft, you witches.
You witches. You remember the first time? What was the first time you heard Mom cuss?
Ooh.
I have a very specific story in mind. That's my story.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you my story, okay?
Go for it. For all the world to hear.
Here we go. Screw you, Mom. No, so it was a Saturday.
She's never watched a single episode of our show. I think we're safe.
It's okay. It was a Saturday.
Literally hundreds to choose from. Hasn't picked any of them.
And she was real stressed out about something. I can't remember what it was. And then you remember when we had the dogs, Precious and Baby? They were probably the most.
Those were outdoor dogs.
They were outdoor dogs, and they were.
They saw maybe a week of inside life, and that was because they got spayed.
Yeah, I've never had dogs before or since that were more prone to run away. Like escape artists, run away.
Buddy was pretty bad, but they were outdoor dogs.
No, I know.
They're like, how fast can I get into them woods?
Yeah, so there was one of those days that they got out and they ran away. And I remember Mom it was a Saturday, so she was probably trying to work on the pool or whatever the case was. And she was, I said something to her and she was like, I've been doing this and I've been doing this and I've been chasing and there was like a 4-second pause and she was like, damn dogs all day.
Really text her.
And I was like, dude, I felt like the Hulk whenever they have him surrounded with the Humvees with the sound machines on top, and they're like, "Shoo, shoo, 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 shoo," and he's like, she's like the damn dogs, and I was like, I thought my face was gonna melt off.
I don't know
like
why she was having a meltdown. I was the one that always had to catch him.
Yeah,
She's like, all right, 12-year-old, chase him on your bike throughout creation.
yeah, in Crosby, Texas, where there was nobody.
At the time, there's a lot of people there now.
Really, really cool part of this one is the moment. There's two things that stood out for me.
This is the one
where she
This is
holds
the
out
coolest
the saber.
Leia content.
Yes.
by far.
Yeah, this is cooler than anything she's done.
By
in
a
canon.
mile.
She holds out her saber.
Without her
and-
hand, she's got her little arms
yeah,
crossed. She's
her-
like, I'm
her
pregnant. I
arms-
can't waste the
yeah,
calories.
her arms are resting on her pregnant tummy, and she's like this, and she holds out the lightsaber and ignites it just out there in front of all the tribal leaders without raising
Pretty
a hand.
cool.
And that's when she says, "I am the Malara Yush."
Yeah, she's throwing her weight around.
Which is pretty cool.
Literally and figuratively.
That was really cool. And then whenever she realized that the Empire's not been working on the fields, they've been poisoning the fields. And
Because they're like, how long should it take to cure that? And they're like, 8 years. And then they're like, they've been here 44 years.
yeah. And so she takes the
6 times the amount of...
right. She takes the droid out. Yeah, the lizard people aren't good at math. Apparently, it's been 8 years for the last 40 years. But she takes some serum from the inside of this droid that's Imperial, and she squeezes the vape juice onto the freaking the grass, and the grass instantly wilts. And she basically has like, this is her moment, similar to like, remember Sabine in Rebels, like has all the clan leaders, and she holds up the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Not Sabine, but Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Right before the Empire wipes them all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very, very cool moment.
Right before the Trail of Tears or whatever they call it.
Yeah, exactly. And then they set Cabrak free. So it's pretty dope.
That was cool. With her lightsaber.
Yeah. And then we get, obviously, to... okay, tell me how Lando doesn't catch Han getting dragged into a hallway like 4 feet behind him going, help!
He's like, must have been the wind.
Lando's like,
Lando's in Skyrim.
swish your sweets!
What is that delectable smell?
You mean that I could have a malt liquor underwater?
My God. Oh, well, it was a good run. 115 episodes. Oh, gee.
I didn't know that you could get Cobra 40 underwater. Anyways.
I don't know why you're acting like underwater is more miraculous than space.
I don't know. You know why. So then Thrawn gives it the zappity zap from space. Okay, let me ask you this, okay? And we'll end the episode on this, okay? We're on the very last couple of pages before Thrawn blows the underwater casino to smithereens. So...
To smithereens is definitely the worst way to be blown.
Yeah. So Han gets dragged
To bits
into
is a
the
close second,
freaking, into this little side room where Now's Farrier's telling him what's what, and we're in control, and Thrawn's giving me the name to the guy that has the Katana fleet, yada yada yada. There's a panel here, and I'll put it on the screen, okay, where Now's Farrier leaves the room, and Han, being very Han, looks at the Wraith and goes, "What about you? You want to be rich?" Like trying to pay him to let him go or whatever, because he's got him dead to rights. The Wraith, it seems like, is holding Han by his own blaster.
It looks like it.
And you can clearly see the gun in the Wraith's hand, but the Wraith is drawn in such a way that it's a bunch of like crisscrossy lines, and it's a blur. It's a shadow in the corner of your vision. Like it's something that makes you go, "What was that?" But you don't ever actually see him because of his DNA or whatever. So my question to you is this dude ass naked? Because if he holds the blaster, you can see the blaster clear as day.
You have to assume he's just cheeks out.
Just balls in the wind, huh?
They wiped down his seat for a reason. You know what I mean, like,
I could have swore I saw something walking by, and there was a thing about 2.5 feet off the ground like this. But I'm not sure what I saw. Is it cold in here for you, Shadow, or are you just happy to see me?
That's two different.
I know. Well, yeah, you're right.
I was in the pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so yeah, he's probably
He's
not
naked,
wearing
right?
clothes. Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, you made it.
All right.
I heard him.
There was a blur that moved past us, and there was one part that was not a blur. I knew exactly what I was looking at.
It was his blaster.
Dad, I got good news. Mom's still alive. Bad news? She's sleeping with my boss, Raj, king of the slams.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Uncle Dave's not there, is he? I hate that guy.
Love you.
See it back. So, we're going to find out what's going on, and then
We sure are.
Thrawn's going to blow this freaking hunk
Case
of junk
wide
right out of the
open.
sky.
Allegedly. I don't know. He's such...
He says you may fire
I remember
when ready.
thinking Thrawn was really cool the first time I read this, because this is the only Thrawn content we had.
Yeah.
And then, in retrospect, I'm like, he's bungling a lot.
He
of
is.
things.
That's what I'm saying. In the comics, especially because you get so much less content, they're just putting out.
He's got a lot
points.
of cool wins. I feel like that are in the books that we're missing. So if you want some cool Thrawn dubs,
Read the novels.
yeah, read the novels as well.
Are you thinking of anything in particular?
No, I just there has to be something else because I can't really remember him getting a sick dub.
The Mark Sable maneuver early on was very, very, very cool.
Yeah, cool beans.
Which we ended up. It stood out so much to Dave Filoni that he put it in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then they brought him back for Rebels and
Their
Ahsoka.
tiny little minds can't comprehend this strategy.
Yeah, you'd think if once you saw it, you'd be like, hang on a second, we're not approaching.
We're like, oh, weird. They're coming out the belly. Huh, anyway, shoot at them, I guess. You're like, what?
Look at all those.
God, where did they... Are you seeing this?
Hang on a second.
Guess we'll just sit here and die. I don't know.
That capital ship's been destroyed and it's pissing out all of its fighters. They're probably just leaving.
They're probably getting the heck out of here, I bet.
What do you mean they're attacking? But
They can't do
that's
that.
it for this week.
Can they do that?
What would you okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you rate this week's issue?
3.5.
3.5? It's not perfect, but it's definitely moving things down the river.
I'm Mike Fink, king of the river.
And then I'm very excited for
I forget there's like a whole second half of that movie after Mike Fink.
part 6 next week. Has a very cool Poseidon-like
Cool Taskmaster looking Luke.
Drew Sabaoth.
I was talking about he looked like Skeletor.
Yes, I was just saying that. Sabaoth looks really cool in this one.
Yeah, he always looks cool.
But yeah, I'm very excited about this, and I am very excited. I always forget that Thrawn has gloves on in this, where he doesn't in canon. Do you ever notice that?
No, it makes me think about that one scene in an extremely goofy movie. He's like, "Why are we always wearing gloves?"
Gloves, yeah.
You ever think about that?
That's a great one. So, if you're following along with us, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, the Force will be with you always.
And also, excuse me, the only family you have here is me.
Such power to command.
All right, get out of here.
We'll see you next time.